Hello and welcome back to You Don't Look It, a podcast about whatever the fuck we want to talk about.
Pretty much. This story that I have for you today is honestly the most odd thing ever. And I'm like, you know what? My
I'm excited.
podcast, I can talk about it.
I'm excited because you wouldn't tell me.
Yep.
And I always want to know. And I'm like, I promise I'm not going to know what it's about. Because we talk about such obscure
Right.
subjects that I swear to God, I would have never heard of it.
It's true.
Except for maybe Tituba, but even then I didn't really know.
Right.
So.
And I've mentioned this one to you before, but never in the sense of I'm gonna do it on the podcast. More of like I've said it in passing about, oh, this would be interesting, sort of thing.
And now I'm thinking about what you said in passing, and I'm like, you know what? No, don't even try because you're not gonna remember.
Oh gosh. But yeah, how have you been?
Oh, riding the struggle bus. I have 2 papers due in 2 days.
Ugh.
I still need 2 sources for one of them. My DBT paper, and then I have 4 pages to write on my senior seminar paper, and I have not started, and I am confused.
Disgusting is all I have to say.
Yeah. You know when you read the syllabus 5 or 6 different times and you can't figure it out, so you email the teacher and then the teacher doesn't really answer your questions?
Yes.
That's where I am. So I had my mother look over the email along with the syllabus to see if she could decipher it, and she was like, I have no fucking clue what this is talking about. And I'm like, cool. Great.
We love that.
Great.
We love it so much.
I don't know what's happening. So, and other than that, Molly's ex-boyfriend and Ever's ex-boyfriend, same dude, tried to add me on Instagram, and now I'm like, I know I should deny him, but I'm so curious at this point, honestly, what he has to say to me. Curiosity is going to get me killed one day.
Does he know you're gay? Do you think he's trying to get with you?
Oh, he knows I'm gay.
Oh, okay.
Everybody knows I'm gay. It's
Wasn't
not
sure.
it's a big, it's okay. I'm femme, but if you talk to me for more than 10 minutes, you're going to be like, no, this bitch is gay. It radiates off of me.
This bitch gay.
I'm just straight looking enough that I don't get assaulted by rednecks in public.
Christ almighty.
I do live in the South.
Oh my lord, that's fair. That's fair.
So how has your week been? I know you were doing some grad school stuff.
Yeah, a little stressed about that, figuring that out. I'm running out of time to figure my life out. And yeah.
Relatable.
I know. I'm trying to think what else I've done. Steven cut his finger while cooking yesterday, so we almost had to go to urgent care because it took a long ass time to stop bleeding. I know. We played a lot of games. I got some pumpkin pie spice creamer for my coffee. That's pretty great. Screw you.
I hate pumpkin spice. I have a vendetta. I have a personal vendetta against pumpkin spice.
Screw you. Do you like pumpkin baked goods at all?
No.
Well,
maybe.
Pumpkin muffins are pretty lit.
We don't do pumpkins where I'm from.
Well, screw you, Danny.
We just don't do pumpkins here. We just don't have them.
There's so many pumpkin everything going on.
Oh, it's hot as fuck here, though. That's probably why.
That would make sense.
They don't grow very well. I mean, I'm sure they do because I know I've been to a pumpkin patch around here, but they don't grow well.
Oh, gotcha. But yeah, I'm trying to remember if I've done anything. I was supposed to have dog sitting tomorrow, but the client is busy, so they're skipping going away, so they don't need me anymore. But this is the one who has search and rescue dogs, so I'm gonna be the quote victim or the participant that because they're doing a recertification for one of the dogs tomorrow, so I'm gonna be the person who hides in the forest, and the dog has to find.
That's
so that'll be
honestly
fun.
That's great. That sounds like so much fun. I'd be all over that.
Oh yeah, I'm excited. I messaged him. I'm like, I don't know if this is weird. I'm like, but I'd love to watch your dogs in action because they're awesome. And she's like, oh, if you ever want to watch or participate in training, let me know. She's like, you're more than welcome to be the person who hides in the woods tomorrow if you want. I'm like, sounds good to me.
I'm down. I got nothing better to do. Let me crawl through the leaves.
Exactly.
Let me get covered in ticks. It'll be great.
Right. So I have that. But yeah, it's been pretty low key. I made some French toast wrapped sausage links for breakfast the other day.
Ooh, man, I have turned so domestic in a way I never thought I would because I have started using Pinterest, which I swear to
Yes,
God I would
that's where I got
never
the
use.
recipe.
Oh
Yes.
my God. And then I've started following cooking people like
Oh my god.
on Instagram. And dude, I'm not domestic like at all. Like I am a hard, not to say that dykes can't cook food, but like I'm a hard dyke. Like I don't do a lot of domestic shit. Like
Oh my
partially
god.
because I'm like crippled,
That's
but
fair.
also partially because it just never interested me. And now I started cooking, and then now my friend has got me on this like, okay, so one of my friends really wants a kid. And
Yeah.
she's talking about having a kid all the time, and I'm like, stop, because I hate children, and you're making me want a child, and I don't like where this is going. I'm
I don't
uncomfortable,
want one, but I want one now.
right? I'm like, I'm uncomfortable now. Okay, you're making me
Oh my
question
God.
myself, and I don't like it.
Oh my gosh, that's funny. But oh, Pinterest is the shit. They have so many good recipes. I tried a couple this week. I think all my recipes for this week, like my breakfast, I got a breakfast one, a dessert, and a dinner. And I've made the I made the breakfast and the dinner so far, and those were good. The dinner was like a spinach artichoke dip, pinwheels, like in the crescent rolls. So good.
Pinwheels.
I know.
I've never heard them described that way.
I feel like I had heard it, but never referred to them as it until I like saw it on various recipes.
It just seems like a bougie thing to say.
True. Ain't that the damn
Like,
truth? It did say this is perfect for brunch, so.
Oh, brunch. I mean, I come from the land of rednecks and yeehaw, so like we don't exactly have a great vocabulary around here. So maybe that's not that bougie, and I just think it's bougie because we just call it them circular things or them round things.
Oh my god. Meanwhile, up here, I say room instead of room.
Rum.
It's like, oh, I'm gonna go to the bathroom or the bedroom.
When you say it really fast, I don't hear it, but I also have like auditory processing problems. So.
That's fair. I never noticed that I said it weirdly or that I said it differently than other people until a few of my college friends, when I went off to college, pointed it out, and I was like, Mick, what?
I know, and everyone was saying that I had an accent, and I'm like, maybe it's because I'm used to the people with like the very intense accents.
Yeah.
But I don't hear it at all.
I don't hear yours. I hear Riley's for sure.
Oh yeah, I hear Riley's, but it's cute. It's like, it's just like barely there.
Oh yeah. So
it's not like the full like southern drawl that I hear old ladies speaking with that literally gives me anxiety like in my bones.
Honestly, fair. The South is a little terrifying. I'm sorry.
I associate it with my southern grandmother. So I have a southern grandma and a German grandma.
Mm.
And my German grandma immigrated here when she was like 19, left, came back again when after she had kids. But like my southern grandma's been here forever, and she has like the most intense southern drawl I've ever heard in my life. God. And it gives me anxiety because I've been out with her so many times where she said something like terrible.
Oh
like,
God.
horribly racist, like, but not, she doesn't think she's being racist.
Oh,
because
gosh.
I guess her form of racism is like the kind that's like the extreme I'm going to kill you kind of racism. So she thinks that saying things that I would find extreme are like casual and not bad.
No. Oh.
And I'm like,
no.
Oh my God. Like
nope.
There have been so many times I've been in public with her where I'm like, I'm going to shoot myself. I can't be here anymore. And I don't want to fight you because I'm going to shut down. Right. And then you're going to be even louder.
Oh
and
my
continue
God.
to be racist. So
yes,
I don't know.
Through all of that, that sounds stressful as hell.
If she were a stranger, I would probably handle it differently. But because I'm related to her and like can't do anything about it,
it's harder.
Yeah, it's harder. I don't know. It's hard to deal with family members, especially when they're old.
Yeah. No, I totally get that.
So yeah, not gonna go into that because it'll turn into a whole other story. I can go over those stories sometimes.
Yes.
If anybody wants to hear the stories of the terrible things I have heard my relatives say in public.
Lord.
Oh my God.
Well, what do you have for me today?
So I have an assortment of stories. All of them are access issue related,
Ugh,
like public access with dogs.
wonderful.
Wonderful.
A favorite.
A favorite. And I was gonna do some other ones, but I have to get permission from others before I can say them.
Makes sense.
So, we got several. I only have a list because they're all very short. But
Sounds
I'm gonna
good.
start with the first one. That ever happened to us, like our first week of PA, which is I am the resident dog petter.
God.
I was at a therapy appointment and I was checking out, and so my therapist at the time, her office was like a house that was converted into an office.
Mm-hmm.
And so there were like maybe two other therapists that worked there with her, and they all just took a bedroom, and like the living room was like the waiting room
Yeah.
kind of thing. And I was checking out, and this woman comes up behind us, and all I hear is, "I'm the resident dog petter," and I'm
What
like,
the hell?
I'm like, "Oh God, fuck me."
God.
And by the time I had turned around, she was already down in there. She had my dog in a headlock. She had her face on his face. She was like, she was about to lick him, kind of like,
Poor
like
Ivar.
all up in his face. And he did like a husky grumble at her, and I'm like, God damn it. And she's like, and I kind of blacked out because I was really stressed out at the time, but I was like, God damn it,
Understandable.
woman. What are you doing?
Who thinks that's a good idea to go up to a strange dog?
Especially when it says do not pet. Like, I didn't have like a for real
Exactly.
vest at the time, so all it said was do not pet. It
Right.
didn't even say service dog, because I was afraid to even put service dog in training on his vest because it wasn't very good yet.
Yeah.
And yeah, so it could have just been an aggressive pet because people bring their pets in there all the time.
Right. Oh my God. I can't with people. Like, it's like, yes, service dogs are not gonna be aggressive and fucking bite you, if you pet them or anything. But it's like,
But
you
also, like, don't put it in a headlock, maybe.
Oh yeah, exactly. Like any dog would be uncomfortable in that situation.
Oh, he kind of panicked too because she just she wrapped her whole arm around his head, and he's like, "Okay," and he
I
started
would have
doing
been
the struggle
panicking.
thing.
Jesus.
Yeah, I was panicking. I was like, "Excuse you?"
Right.
Like,
It's like,
damn.
you said you could do that because it wasn't me.
Oh, it got me. The next one I have is accosted by a redneck at PT.
Nope. Fuck no.
Yeah, so it was a busy day at PT. It was before the pandemic, and I had Ivar behind me in a block, and I was checking out. Notice this almost always happens when I'm checking out.
Yeah, seriously. When you're minding your own goddamn business.
I probably need to start having him stand in front of me when we check out, because it always happens when he's behind me.
That's my struggle. It's like I'm a lot more comfortable with Rudy doing a block, but there's a lot less irritating interactions with the public if I have him in front of me.
Yeah, and also I'm just scared of what people are gonna do to him.
True, that's fair.
Because I've had friends who have had people try to steal their dogs.
What? Oh my
when they
God.
were in a block. Yeah, because some of my friends have their dogs working off leash, and people have tried to grab their dogs by the collar and just walk off with them. They've tried to call them over and just take them.
That's terrifying. Oh my God.
Yeah, it's scary. So yeah. Anyway, so I had him in a block behind me, and this guy starts making kissing noises at him.
Ugh,
and
annoying.
I was just gonna let it keep going, and it didn't stop, and Ivar was starting to get distracted, so I turned around and I was like, hey, could you please not do that? He's working, and gave him the whole nice spiel.
Right.
And he seemed a little disgruntled, but he didn't really say anything. And then I just started walking over to take a seat, and the woman at the desk goes, oh, he's a really pretty dog. I'm like, thanks. And then this man takes it upon himself to feel like I have personally slighted him, and he starts yelling, oh, so she can talk to the dog, but I can't. And I'm like,
Okay,
first of all,
she was talking to you, not even, she was talking to you about Ivar, but she wasn't talking to Ivar and distracting him purposefully.
yeah, and I was trying to tell him that I'm like, I'm sorry, like she was talking to me. You were not talking to me.
Right.
And he starts getting all up in my face and he starts yelling at me. And I'm like, he's medical equipment. Like, you can't distract him. Like, I never tell people what's wrong with me
Right.
in public. But, like, I always say it's, like, for seizures because, first of all, nobody looks like they have seizures. Like, it's just not a stereotype.
Right.
And second of all, it's people, like, you can't answer anything to that. Like the most question you can have is, like, do you have epilepsy? And then just say yes and walk away.
Right.
Like, there's so minimal questions that you could ask to that. And so I was like, if he gets distracted, I could die. And the guy just kept getting in my face and kept trying to fight me. Eventually, they had to escort him off the premises.
Good.
And
fuck him.
I know, and everyone was like, I'm so sorry that happened to you. And I'm like, I'm just freaking out. And the lady comes up to me and she's like, oh, you accidentally showed up early. Do you want to wait, or do you want to see if we can squeeze you in with like an intern or like somebody doing their PT internship?
Right.
And I was like, actually, if it's okay, can I just come back later because that guy just accosted me and I don't want to be here anymore. And they're like, oh, okay, so we'll put you with an intern. And I'm like, okay, I guess I'm going to PT now.
It's like, okay, thanks for listening? Question mark?
Thanks for asking, I guess.
My God.
Know. And then I was like, I don't know if he still did PT there at that time. I did run into him again. And I was like, can I change my times if he's going to be here when I'm going to be here?
Right.
Because I don't want to run into him anymore.
Understandable. Yeah, fuck that guy. It's like the fucking woman that Riley and I encountered. They just feel so entitled. And it's so
I know, and I'm like, did you really need to yell at somebody who looks like they're 18?
Right.
Like, I'm 23, but people regularly think that I'm like a high school kid.
Iconic.
I know. I'm like, at least when I'm 30, I'll look
True.
young in my 20s.
True.
At least I'll look young. I have an obsession with like taking care of my skin almost to the point where it's like compulsory. Like,
I need to get a good skin routine.
It was like I had a touch of OCD like back in the day, where to the point where like if anything touched my face, I had to like wash it immediately. So yeah. I took really good, like crazy good care of my skin, and I've definitely gotten better. So I haven't been taking as good care of it, but I definitely need to like get back with it a little bit because I've been breaking out.
Right. No, I feel that. I got a good hair routine. I just need a good skin routine now.
I've got a mediocre hair routine and a mediocre skin routine.
And
I feel like that makes an okay routine.
Yeah, that's honestly better than nothing.
Right? I mean, because I used to just let my hair run wild.
Same here. Or just throw it up in a ponytail.
I just let it do its thing. Like, I couldn't be fucking bothered. Like, it was what it was.
It was what it was. God.
So, the next one I have is the Columbia Zoo and Gardens train ride.
Oh, Lord.
I don't know if you've ever been to the zoo in Columbia, South Carolina, but it's really big.
I don't think that's the one Riley and I went to. I think we went to there's one in Greenville, right?
Yeah, and it's really, really tiny, and they have these, like, fucking baboons that are loud. The howler monkeys. The fucking howler monkeys.
I do think I went to that one. I remember there was a huge hill, so I pushed Riley up it and we booked it. We had Rudy and Gatsby pull her while I was running and pushing her. That's my most distinct memory of the zoo. But no, I did not go to the Columbia Zoo.
That zoo is not laid out well. And I mean, Greenville is like a big city here, but like compared to other states, that's like a small town. And that zoo is really tiny and really old and not very accessible.
Yeah, no, it didn't seem like it.
But I don't know if I can use her name or not. Handler.
Mm-hmm. I would just change it just to be safe.
Yeah, I just wanted you to know who I was talking about since you know them. I'm gonna call her Lydia.
Okie doke.
So me and Lydia went to the Columbia Zoo and Gardens because she was there to visit her brother, and she had driven down from Virginia, and um, I can't remember what I was doing or why I was in Columbia, but I was there for some reason. And we ended up going there, and Ivor was an asshole when we
What
first
mood?
got there, and he was just like howling because he was so excited, and I was like, "You're killing me, man!" I made him I made him lay down in the front entrance for like 15 minutes to get him to shut up.
He's like, I am hyped.
He loves birds. I
That's
don't know
funny.
what it is, but if he smells a bird, he's like fucking pumped. He's ready to go. And
That's
like
funny.
the bigger the bird, the more excited he is. So when he sees the flamingos, he's
Oh
like,
my God.
"Oh shit, man. These are my bitches." And I'm like, "Stop."
Oh my God. That's
Stop.
funny.
But you know, after he got over the initial excitement, he was
Right.
good. He was fine. He was just a little bit of a whore. Honestly, he wasn't ready for that zoo trip. I took him anyway though, because I didn't have anybody to watch him.
Yeah.
Bad dog mom, I know, but
YOLO, we all
I
make
really
mistakes.
wanted to go see Lydia. So I
Right.
took him anyway. Her dog was a prince though, and he was like perfect the entire time. So it was like, at least
Aw.
one of us is a good representation of the community.
That's a
At least
mood,
one of us.
honestly.
And so there's the zoo portion, and then there's the garden portion, and between that you have to take like a little trolley ride because I don't think they own the land or something, or it's like a conservation thing, I don't know.
Oh, okay.
And they have disabled seating in the front of the train, and so me and Lydia end up sitting up there, and we sit far enough apart so that our dogs can fit under the seats and like not be in each other's way, because even though they are service dogs and they can sit on top of each other, like
It's like
I'm about respecting my dog's space.
Right.
If I can give him space and I don't have literally no other option, I'm going to give him as much space as he needs.
Right.
And they started putting strollers in the disabled seating,
Oh my God.
and they kept trying to push us closer and closer together to get us in, to get all the strollers in. And we're like, can you not do that? Like, we actually do need space for our medical equipment.
Right.
And he's like, no, just scooch together. And Lydia's dog had never been on a trolley before, to her knowledge. He's a program dog, so maybe.
Right.
But they weren't sure. And so she was like, I don't want them to be super close together in case my dog gets uncomfortable and freaks out.
It's fair.
And so we're over there like jammed together, and they just keep stacking all, I don't know how many strollers there were, but there must have been like 10 of them.
Jesus.
And they wouldn't collapse either. So they take up all the wheelchair seating too. And I'm like, and there were there were stroller caddies on the back of the fucking thing.
Are you kidding me? Oh my God.
So they had stroller caddies that they could have used,
and they didn't.
but they put them in the disabled seating. And so we eventually got out and walked, which was terrible for both of us because we both have fucked up hips.
Oh God.
And the guy was like getting mad at us. He was like, I don't know why you're so upset about this. And I'm like, it's disabled seating for a reason.
God, not for your goddamn strollers.
Yeah. And it was a mess. That whole trip was a mess. I had so much fun, but Ivar was just a shit. And then, like, the whole thing.
The zoo's a tough place, though, as well.
Yeah.
And I had barked at a lion before, so.
Yeah, I have a video of Ivar at the Greenville Zoo, like, getting really excited and trying to, like, play with a leopard. And the leopard is like stalking him and trying to like hunt him, and it ran up to the glass and like smacked him, and he got really excited and he was like, oh yeah, buddy. And I'm like,
oh my gosh,
dude.
Ivar, no self-preservation.
I know. I'm like, oh fuck.
At that zoo, I had Rudy lay behind a thing so the leopard couldn't see him because I didn't want the leopard stalking him, because I knew he probably would have been scared. He wouldn't have wanted to play with it if it went to the glass.
The weirdest thing about Ivar is he would get spooked by like a trash can blowing in the wind on its side down the street. But he would fucking love to play with the leopard.
my god,
One of the orangutans at the Columbia Zoo like was beating on the glass trying to
Yeah.
like get to him.
The apes
Ivar-
don't typically love the dogs.
No, they hate the dogs. And Ivar was like, "Oh fuck yeah, I'm doing it." And I'm like, "Oh my god, he's gonna break the glass."
Oh my god. The orangutan at the Greenville Zoo was good because Rudy's biggest fear when we had initially gone to the zoo, which mind you was way too soon into our like bond, like because he's from a program, and we went maybe a month later. That was totally on me. Big mistake. And he was
We all do it. I literally am just talking about doing it.
right. He was quite frightened by the gorillas and the big apes. So when we went to Greenville, he didn't give a crap about the giant ass orangutan, and I was like, proud mother right here.
Look at you go. I know. I'm like maybe because Greenville Zoo is kind of out of the way for us. It's kind of far from here, but I'm like maybe it's such a small zoo that I could avoid the big apes and just take him around like the birds and stuff and just
That's
work
true.
on his excitement levels around the weird birds.
Yeah. Ooh, they have big vultures there. I remember.
They do.
Nice big birds for him.
He loves them big birds. I know there's like a conservation center in North Carolina that it's a zoo, but they only take rescue animals that are native species to the area.
Oh, nice. Yeah, we have a place like that in Maine.
Yeah, so they have all these like bears and stuff that can't be released to the wild, and like eagles and wolves, and they have some wolf dogs that can't be
cool.
released. And I'm like, Prime, I need to take him here because
Right.
this is also a good one. Because we don't have monkeys here.
Right.
And the bears were like the exhibit, you walk over it like on a bridge. You don't like get down eye level with them.
Yeah.
So that way like he could see them, but they couldn't freak out on him.
Right. That's a nice way to position it.
Yeah.
Oh, I love me a good zoo. What can I say? The nice zoos that are like sanctuaries and stuff.
I'm a slut for aquariums and zoos. Like
Steven loves a good aquarium.
Oh my god, if a girl takes me to an aquarium, like I'll love her forever. Like sorry, like
when you come up here, I'll take you to the Boston Aquarium. We have a membership and we can get you in for free.
I would love that. Like anybody that takes me to an aquarium, you're my best friend. Like we're hanging out, especially if you have a pass. Like I'll hang out at the aquarium with you guys all the time.
And it's so nice. It's right on the harbor too. And they have sea lions, and they have like this big center thing in the middle, and it's like this giant tube-like thing that has sea turtles and fish and all that. So I mean, you can go to the top and see the stingrays, and they have a touch tank and all this stuff. Is really cool. But I think the best aquarium
though, because they are kind of mean to the animals.
Yeah, no, I didn't like that one. I like the one so I went to the Ripley's Aquarium in Toronto. And that was the best one I've ever been to. They have the aquariums where you like walk through and it's over you, so it's like a tunnel.
Yeah, like the Georgia Aquarium.
Yeah, and they have massive touch
cool.
tanks where like it's with stingrays. There's some like sharks in there too, like small ones. You can't pet the sharks, but you can pet the stingrays, and it's like if they go by, just kind of put your hand out and they'll go under your hand, and then you can touch them. But so it's like a nice one opposed to like the children
let me just
poking.
Poke it. I'm like, I feel so bad for the starfish that get like manhandled by the children and like ripped apart. I'm like, this is awful. Why is this considered humane?
Right? Oh, but that was an awesome aquarium in my opinion. So you gotta go there at some point.
Hell yeah. I still want to travel. I'm like, I've been talking to friends. I'm like, hey, when we graduate, you just want to take like a year off or like a semester off and just like travel in an RV.
Oh my god, that would be ideal.
Yeah, like I'm talking to a friend who has a boyfriend, and I'm like, your boyfriend can come too. We just need a 2-bedroom RV.
Right.
And she's like, even if my boyfriend doesn't want to come, like, I'll just go. And I'm like, okay, good.
Yeah, perfect. Oh my gosh.
Perfect.
I just want to go on a nice road trip, hit up all these aquariums and zoos and sanctuaries and shit like that.
Same. I really want to go to like all these national parks and stuff.
Yes.
I want to see snow. I remember the first time I saw snow in 2017 and I cried.
Maine. All I see is snow in New Hampshire and Maine.
We get ice, and then the kids here think it's snow.
God.
And so they ball it up and they throw it at each other.
That's rude.
It hurts. I have had bruises like the size of basketballs on my legs from kids throwing ice at me.
Christ.
Yeah.
Jeez. I
It's not
totally got
cute.
sidetracked though. I apologize.
Oh no, you're good. Because honestly, like, I didn't have a good cohesive story this week, so I'm like, if this goes off onto tangents, I fill my 30 minutes, and that's fine.
Yeah. Perfect. Yeah, mine's a bit of a all over the place story.
I'm kind of feeling the all over the place stories though.
No, I feel that kind of just like more like a convo than like a in-depth thing.
Yeah.
But I hate access issues. Fuck that.
Yeah, my most recent one was Target. Target seems to be a hellhole for me
Ugh.
because
Love Target, but not the issues
yeah,
that you can face
like,
there.
One time I had this man and his kids, like his kids were like in the cart and like walking next to him, and they were all under the age of like 8, so they were little, and they were like looking at my dog, and the dad's like, look at the dog, and the kids were like screaming at it.
Christ.
And, like, if you've ever interacted with kids under the age of 10, you know that looking quickly turns into touching.
Yes.
Especially when you encourage it and you're like, hey, look at that cat, and then all of a sudden the kid is chasing the cat, like,
right.
Yeah. And so I turned around, I was like, hey, sorry, could you please not do that? It's really distracting. And he just went off. He was like, oh, I'm sorry that I offended your dog. Like, don't bring your dog in public if you don't want people to look at it. And I'm like,
fuck that.
Oh my God. And he was like cursing at me. And I'm like, dude, your kids are present. Your kids are here. What the fuck?
And it's not like you're yelling at the kids or anything like that.
Just teach your kids to harass disabled people. It's fun. It's dandy.
Seriously. Oh my God. I hate just people are so entitled. Like, I get it. Even like times when I go out without Rudy for one reason or another, if I see another team, I'm like, hard working doggo. And it's like
sometimes I like smile and nod at them or like wave, and I'm like,
especially
hey.
when I have Rudy, we walk by each other, we just smile and nod. But like I get it. Like, admire the dog, but don't stare, don't distract it, don't tell your kids to distract it. Like,
it's like, I don't mind if people are like, because people are always going to be like, oh my God, it's a dog.
Right.
Because for whatever reason, people have never seen a dog before.
I know.
And I'm like, yeah, I don't care about that. But like when your kids are like screaming at us, like, maybe time to rein it in like a little bit.
Right. Exactly. It's like, I get it. I get people are going to look. I hate it when people stare. I've gotten, like, I'm an anxious person, but I've gotten to the point where if someone is staring at us or staring at Rudy, I will stare right back at them.
Oh my God, Sam.
Stare into their soul.
You should have seen this group of teenagers at the mall. Like, they were pointing at us. They were at a table, like, eating at the food court. And they were, like, pointing at us and, like, screaming and looking at us. And the girl that was, like, instigating it all, I just stopped in my tracks, and I just, like, I was wearing the face mask, so she didn't get the full bitch face stare. But, like, I just stared her down so hard. I looked into her soul, and she looked like she was gonna shit herself.
Oh my God. I love it. Oh, I love it.
It was a thing of beauty. But anyway, the man continued to follow me and scream at me until I turned down an aisle, and one of the dudes that was working there was like, had seen it all go down. He was like, oh my God, are you okay? I'm like, no, I'm fine. And I like was starting to cry, and it just turned down another aisle.
Me, honestly, friggin' me.
Like, ooh.
I can't with people. Jesus.
And this isn't the same trip, but this is the last one, I promise.
No, no worries, no rush.
This is actually the only time I've ever formally complained for an access issue.
Oh.
Which, like,
saucy.
I don't do it a lot. Like, I probably should have done it for the Columbia Zoo and Gardens. And Lydia was like, oh, are you going to complain? I'm like, yeah, I'll complain. And then I don't know, ADHD. It slipped my mind or something.
Yeah. I think I've only complained twice. Once when I was segregated in a restaurant, and their excuse was, the waiter was like, oh, my daughter has a service dog. We're not segregating you. I'm like, okay, fake news. And another time was like, there was a really aggressive fake in a grocery store, and I complained to the people, and they're like, yeah, corporate tells us to ignore them because we get more money out of their business. And I was like, okay, so I called corporate.
Are you kidding me?
I called corporate and talked to the person who runs I think I talked to the CEO, actually.
Oh, shit.
Yeah.
What store was that?
Market Basket. I called and I complained, and then they set up a meeting with the CEO or whatever.
Oh shit. Yeah, because they shouldn't be telling them to ignore a like
Right.
okay, yeah, some dogs are only dog aggressive, but what if it were human aggressive or child
Right.
aggressive? Like what if it went
Exactly.
after somebody's kid?
Exactly. And I told them, and they're like, I started like politely telling them the laws and being like, like, oh, this. And I'm like, you have the right to kick them out. I was like, even if it's real, I don't think it is, but who am I to say?
Oh yeah,
Um,
like Ivar's definitely like made mistakes before where like he barked at something because he got scared
right. Yeah.
or he like had an accident and I'm like I've never been kicked out, but I'm like I totally would have been fine if they were like no, he has to leave right now
Right.
because he like peed in the store and I'm like okay, yeah, fair.
Right. But oh yeah, it just pissed me off. And I was like, just telling them, they're like, yeah, we know. I'm like, then why aren't you doing anything about it? They're like, we know who she is. Like, higher up in corporate just tells us to let her shop because she comes here all the time and we get money from her and stuff like that. I'm like, I was fucking baffled.
I can't. People are wild. Like you
I
could tell
complained
them
one other time
politely.
as well, but yeah,
Oh
no.
god. You could tell them politely just like, "Hey, I'm sorry, like we have a no pet policy."
Right.
Like it's not I mean, I guess people like freak out anyway no matter what cuz apparently in America freedom means you can do literally anything you want to do and if anybody tells you you can't do something, you can fight somebody over it.
Fucking seriously though.
Like the no maskers. I'm not going to get off on a rant. I swear to god, I promise. But like the people that don't wear a mask, I'm like they're ready to throw hands if people just hand them a clean brand new mask. It's just like, hey, just wear this while you're in the store. They're
Right.
like, absolutely not. I have human rights. And I'm like,
I fucking can't with Americans.
I I'm like, no other country has this problem. Like,
Right. It's like, why are we the only one, huh?
why? Why? I can't. Okay, I'm not gonna go off. I'm not
That's
gonna go off. I promise. But the last and final one where I actually did complain was also at Target. I had gone to Target with Riley like 2 days before or something like that.
Mhm.
And this was Ivar's first time like in public since quarantine, especially working with another team. I think we've probably been out a few times since
Right.
quarantine, but this is the first time we were out with another team. And he's been attacked by off leash dogs since quarantine started.
Yeah.
So I wasn't expecting him to like get spooked.
Right.
But he got like excited to see Gatsby, and at first I thought it was reactivity, but now I realize that he only does this for Gatsby, which means that it's playtime.
He's like,
because he actually knows
Gatsby.
I know, because at first I was worried. I was like, oh my god, he's been attacked. Maybe he can't handle it anymore, and like he does whine around other dogs
Yeah.
because he's been attacked, but he doesn't like bark and get all excited.
Right.
So it's generally just being uncomfortable, not like bad
Freaking out or
reactivity.
anything. Yeah.
Yeah, so turns out that I freaked myself out over nothing and he just wanted to play with Gatsby, but still scared me.
I would have done the same thing, honestly.
Like I was like, huh. But anyway, he saw Gatsby and he barked like once or twice,
Yeah.
and I took him out of the store immediately, sat his ass down in the parking lot, and like worked him through some drills to just get his brain back
Right.
to where it needed to be. And we went into PetSmart next door, and he was fine and was doing great around the other dogs in PetSmart. So I was like, okay, he was just having a weird moment. So we went back into Target, and some kid, like too old to be running in a store, like
God.
probably like 13 or 14,
Okay.
ran by like really fast, like really heavy stomping, and I think he hit Ivar's tail on the way.
Oh, poor baby.
And Ivar got spooked and he
I'd
broke
be
his
scared.
heel and he barked at him.
Fair.
And I'm like, I freaked out and I was like, okay, we're going home. I'm gonna sob in my car.
Me.
And I called his trainer and she's like, don't wash him. He just freaked out. Like,
Yeah.
that's a lot for your first day back at work. He hasn't worked in 6 months. And I'm like, okay, fair. Went back to
True.
Target a few days later to grab something. And I was with my sister and he was like perfect the entire time. No overexcitement. Like,
What a
stayed
guy.
in a heel. He tasked. He was great. And then we went to check out and I put him in a down in front of me because I'm like, I'm not going to make you block. I'm not going to put you under extra stress. You're going to chill today.
Yeah.
And he was doing fantastic. And the lady asked me, is that a service dog? And I said, yes. And she goes, well, does he have registration? And I was like, no, there is no registration in the United States. I gave her the whole
Yeah.
ADA explanation. I'm like, if people are coming in with registration, because I always say this,
Yeah.
just to like increase the safety at
Right.
stores, that if people come in with registration, that it's a scam and it's not legal and it's not valid.
Right.
And she was like, well, I'm going to have to call my manager because last time that dog was in here, he barked at a child. And
What
I
a
was
bitch.
like, I know. And I was like, okay. And I was starting to panic. And my sister was like, don't freak out. I'm like, oh, I'm freaking out.
Right.
And and I was trying to explain that like he hadn't worked in 6 months, that like, you know, I was really disturbed by that. Like I talked to his trainer that he was allowed back, and she was like, sure, I'm sure. Whatever, I'm sure. And I'm like, oh my God. And
What
she's
the
having
hell?
like a very hushed conversation behind the plexiglass on her walkie-talkie with her manager. And I'm hard of hearing, so I like not super hard of hearing,
Yeah.
but like if I can't read your lips and hear you at the same time and you're not talking loud, I'm gonna miss it.
Yeah.
And she was having some kind of conversation with her manager, which I couldn't hear, and my sister's over there like, the manager is telling her to fuck off. And and Suzanne, that was her name, she's just over there like going at it.
Fucking
And
Suzanne.
she made me wait for like 15 minutes and refused to ring up my items.
What a bitch.
Yeah, and like, I don't know, she kept trying to say something to me, and I'm like, I'm sorry, I can't hear that well. And she's like, oh, I know. And I'm like,
rude. What the hell?
Yeah, and she just had such a bad attitude, and I like freaked out. I haven't been back to that Target since because I'm afraid.
God,
but I complained, and I was like, to my knowledge, I don't know if I'm banned or not because I couldn't hear her. And
my Lord.
I told her I couldn't hear her, and so I may or may not be banned.
They can't do that.
It just, they emailed me back. They're like, we're gonna pass it along to the store, and I was like, okay. And I heard nothing since, but still, it was probably one of the most like jarring events that I've had happen to me.
Understandable, yeah. I'd be stressed as hell.
But anyway,
Lord,
so
well,
concludes
those are
it
some
from
wild
the story.
ones. Those are some crazy ones.
Yeah, I can't with people.
Yeah, no. Me
I know I've had other ones, but like honestly, it's been so long, and those are the ones that just stuck out my brain, and I'm still trying to. Oh, hello there. Every time he shakes, that happens.
Oh my gosh.
My mother's dogs, I hate him.
Oh my gosh. Poor Ivar being harassed.
I hate it.
All right. Are you hyped for my story?
Absolutely.
All right. So this is the story of our favorite capitalist. Do you have any guesses?
Honestly, if you're talking sarcasm, I'm gonna say Trump. But if you're not being sarcastic, then I have no idea.
So today I'm going to talk about our favorite capitalist, a raccoon named Tom Nook the Crook.
Yes!
And I'm going to talk about how he shares many characteristics with cult leaders.
Yes.
So,
wait a minute. Is this a historical story? How?
I feel like it's historical enough. It's not a personal.
I mean, fair. I mean, history can be modern.
It's also
There's
like
modern history
psychology. So, I mean, like.
This is true.
So, I feel like it's fair. It's like.
Honestly, this podcast has taken a turn. It's really just whatever the fuck we want it.
I know. It's like personal story and whatever the fuck.
Yeah, like, and honestly, the personal stories a lot of times are just like whatever the fuck. Like today, like I was like, you know what? I need permission to tell the story, so I'm just gonna tell a bunch of random stories.
No, I feel
Because I
that.
feel like talking about access issues.
But yeah, I thought this would be good. I thought it'd be entertaining, and I mean, it's not personal, so I was like, I feel like it works. And I'm like, I know a lot of people like Animal Crossing, so I think maybe they'll be entertained.
Oh yeah, I refused to play Animal Crossing for like a decade. And now that I got a Switch, I finally played it and I hate the fact that I like it.
It's so much fun.
I'm just
Okay.
still pissed that you're not allowed to be an animal.
That is annoying. Okay, so if anyone has not, I'll give you a little background on Tom Nook first. So anyone who hasn't played, Tom Nook is a raccoon, or in Japanese, it's also called a tanuki. I think that's how it's pronounced.
Actually, they're different.
Well, those are raccoon dogs, is what I know, and they're common
Yeah,
mythology.
so a tanuki is actually a canid, and it's not. I don't think a raccoon is, and they're different species.
All I know is Wikipedia said Tom Nook is a raccoon. Well, we call him a raccoon, but he's supposed to be a tanuki, is what it said.
Have you seen the traditional tanuki carvings in
I have
Japan?
not. I need to.
Oh my god, they have
look those
huge
up.
balls. It's really unsettling.
Really? Maybe I don't
Yes.
want to look it up.
No, you don't.
So I thought it'd be fun if I read some Urban Dictionary definitions of Tom Nook to start us off.
Oh my god, yes.
So let's see. Tom Nook, fat ass raccoon who steals your money in Animal Crossing and has two nephews, Timmy and Tommy. And the example sentence is Tom Nook is a total ass jack. Total ass jack? Total ass jack. He's a total
That's
ass
gotta be a Midwest thing.
Not a
That doesn't
jackass, but
sound
he's
right.
an ass jack.
That's some Midwestern shit. That doesn't make sense to me.
The next definition is Tom Nook, a dumbass bitch whore who steals bells and is a power hungry bitch. Get your island and kill this bitch once you get a shovel or whack his ass with a net. And then the example sentence is Tom Nook needs to move the fuck out.
Honestly, he's violating child labor laws.
Tell me about it. I do mention that. This one is Tom Nook is coming for those knees. Tom Nook is coming for my knees if I don't pay him.
He's gonna bust my kneecaps.
And then another one, Money Satan, whom puts you in debt even though you could smite him in Super Smash Bros. Ultimate. He'll become Karen and take the kids. And then
Wow,
the example,
I can't deny that.
Yeah. Did you get the bells for Tom Nook? Villager B, I'm broke. Raccoon Satan smites their homes. That's the example. So those are some good definitions
Beautiful.
I found on Urban Dictionary. Thought that'd be a nice little way to start us off.
A good start to the day.
So, as mentioned, Tom Nook has two children or nephews. They never say, I guess in one of the Animal Crossing games, he says he's not related to them, and it's possible that he like found them orphaned and adopted them. But I've always referred to him as his nephews.
I think they're his nephews because I recently started the game where he introduces his like child slave labor,
Right.
and I think they're his nephews.
So Timmy and Tommy Nook, and they're also referred to as the Nooklings.
I hate that.
I know.
I hate that a lot.
And so also they got his English name. So his Japanese name is Tanakichi, I believe. Tanukichi is what it was. And they got his English name Tom Nook because it sounds similar to Tanuki.
Yeah, because that's basically like Tanuki, like nickname in Japanese. Like chi is like a nickname.
Yeah, that's what I was
To add
reading when
chi
I was
to the
doing
end of the
some
name.
research.
Chinese nicknames will just call you like a small cat.
I love that.
Because I took 3 years of Chinese, and they're like, yeah, like a lot of people's nicknames are going to be like small cat or like little dog, because it's like the evil spirits won't come and take your soul if they think you're a dog or a cat.
Iconic.
So
I
they
love
won't come and
that.
steal the souls of your children, or something bizarre my Chinese teacher told me about, and I was like,
The more you
that's
know.
disturbing, but also kind of cool.
Right? So this, what I found super interesting is, so you know the green leaf, that's typically the logo for Animal Crossing, and also the furniture turns into it. So that leaf, it comes from a common myth about tanukis, where the tanuki is able to change things into leaves, that specific leaf.
Oh,
So
yeah.
they think that's also why like the furniture turns into leaves in Animal Crossing.
That's kind of cute, actually.
I know, right?
like
I was like,
that.
this is so cool.
I feel like Animal Crossing is a lot more like interesting if you actually understand the cultural like references.
Yeah. Yeah, no. That like I'm already more intrigued from the stuff I learned. Doing this research, I was like, damn, I really want to play Animal Crossing now. I'm like, I have to finish this though.
I know, like I have to finish homework, but I really want to play Breath of the Wild right now.
Right. So I am mostly going to talk about Animal Crossing New Horizons because it's what people are most familiar with. So I'm mostly going to talk about his actions in those because he does change a little throughout the games.
Wait, which is the current one?
New Horizons.
Oh, okay. Yeah, because I'm not familiar with any of the others.
Right. I don't even remember the one I used to play was called. But I will touch
New
on some
Leaf,
other
I
games.
think it's New Leaf.
New Leaf.
I
This
don't
one?
know.
No, this one's New Horizons.
No, the last one.
I think I played on my DS. I think it was Wild World or some shit like that.
Oh, okay, yeah.
I played City Folk on my Wii.
Ooh.
But so let's talk a little bit more about how he's a little bit of a culty guy. So, I think one of the big things. So I took some notes based off of my own knowledge because I studied cults in school, and also based off of the International Cultic Studies Association, which is where I've also obtained my additional knowledge. I'm a member of there, so if you ever want to join, folks, just go to their website. Yeah, it's quite snazzy.
Is it like, do you have to pay money to join, or do you just join?
Yeah, but the student one is super cheap. It's like $25 or something.
Nice.
And you get access to all these articles and journals and discounts on like stuff, whether it's their conference or whatever.
Yeah.
But so I got most of my information from my own knowledge and then the International Cultic Studies Association. But so one thing that's common of cults, specifically cult leaders, is that the cult leader typically sees himself as being elitist or being a messiah of sorts. And so an example of this is that in Animal Crossing Happy Home Designer, Tom Nook refers to himself as King Nook, and he makes other people refer to him as King Nook, and he dresses like a king, and so he's like this, just like above everyone else. Yeah, so that was uncomfy learning about that because I never played that one, but in my research I found that one and I found pictures. I was like, fucking weirdo, Tom Nook.
Fucking weirdo, weird ass Tom Nook.
And so also what's typical in cults is the members are obsessed with the leader. They love them no matter what they do. And that can also be seen in New Horizons, Isabelle, that yellow dog who's in the town hall. She's always talking about how great he is, the good shit he's doing. She calls him Mr. Nook.
Fucking Isabelle. Oh.
Fucking Isabelle. And all the people on the island are like, oh, Tom Nook did this. Like, he offered me this, all this shit. And they're always talking so good about him, even if he's not doing that good shit. And I will say, he's done some good shit. He's making an island, but not for selfless reasons. So another characteristic of cults and cult leaders are that the group is very preoccupied with bringing in new members. And as you know from Animal Crossing New Horizons, you need to go to other lands and islands and everything, and you need to recruit people to come live on your island and join your town because Tom Nook says that
the cult.
Exactly.
Join the cult.
Tom Nook says you have to have more people. You need to be this big popular thing, and he's super devoted to making your island the best. And he's saying you're the best, so let's make it the best. And a big popular thing in cults is getting like celebrities or people like that to join, because then it gets more people to join and it shows that like, oh, we're legit and we're awesome. So kind of like with Scientology, you have Tom Cruise and what the fuck's his name, the guy from Grace,
Cruise.
and like NXIVM, there was a famous actress who was in that.
Wait, what's
Allison.
NXIVM?
NXIVM was a sex cult that recently got. It was disguised as a self-help group or like a self-growth group. Yeah, but it was actually like a sex cult, and it was run by
Oh.
Keith Raniere and Allison something. She was the actress, but they're
Oh, you
arrested
know.
now. And so a popular thing, that is a popular thing, and that can be seen when Tom Nook is like, we need to get KK Slider up in this bitch to play his music on our island, and more people will come and people will like us more if we have KK Slider approving of us. So that's another example.
Can we just have like a weird conspiracy theory like cast? Just a conspiracy cast, like nothing real, like nothing that could get us like sued, but
Yeah. Oh
Animal
my-
Crossing conspiracy theories.
Right. I had always said to Danny, I'm like, Tom Nook is super culty. I should write an expose on this or something. And she's always like, do it.
I mean, he is a capitalist crook, but I didn't know what you meant by he was a cult leader, but actually this is making some sense.
Yeah, right? I was like, you know what? Screw writing about it. I'll talk about it. And I could definitely go more in depth than I'm going to go, but I figured I'd keep it light and fun.
Keep it easy.
So
it'll be okay.
Another characteristic is the group and the leader is they're preoccupied again, not only with bringing in new members, but also making a fuck ton of money. And as we know, Tom Nook loves his moolah. And he is like, yes, I'm going to make you pay this much. Yes, I won't make you pay interest on your loan, but still, he really wants you to pay all this money. He wants you to pay to better the island. He's like, I'll make it happen. I'm not going to do jack shit, but you pay and I'll make you a bridge. Like,
it's like Scientology. That's not a cult, but it's not a cult.
Yeah, exactly. Wink, wink. And so we all know Tom Nook. All he cares about is money. He comes to you for your bells. He's like, give me the bells. He's like, oh, you want to upgrade your house? Okay, well, pay me some more goddamn money and we'll do that. And he tells you to do all these things. He's constantly ordering you around. He literally just wants money all the damn time. And he works his fucking nephews at the shop. His little the child labor that goes on over there.
I mean, the child labor that goes on in cults too.
Exactly.
I mean,
the international.
that ain't right.
The there are two that sound very alike. One's a cult, one's a not. So I don't want to say it wrong. So if I think about it, I'll say it. Yeah, there's one that I know of specifically that does a lot of child labor, and if you get sick, they're like, oh, it's because you don't believe enough. And
it's like those people that are like, Jesus will save me from pneumonia.
That was exactly it. A girl had cancer and they didn't do anything about it and she died.
Yeah. No, that's like a thing too. Like we have to learn about that in my psychology classes, that some people are like, oh, if Jesus wants me to live, he'll make sure that I live and survive like cancer or diabetes, and like I won't need treatment. And I'm like, I can't remember exactly what, because it wasn't like a whole lesson thing. It was just like a short one day thing. But she was like, yeah, no, I used to have to like convince people to get treatment for life-threatening conditions.
It's crazy. Yeah. That's also very common with, I believe, Jehovah's Witnesses, the more extreme cases. But yeah, so he's got that child labor going on. Poor Timmy and Tommy running a goddamn shop they probably don't want to run.
Against their will, selling radishes, getting them to gamble.
And the thing is, you buy anything from this bitch and you sell the shit back for not even like half the price. You don't even get that much money back. Like,
I just let them rot so I can catch flies.
Capitalist. Yeah, seriously, good idea. Another example is members are expected to devote all of their time to the group and group-related activities. And you know how we're basically Tom Nook's bitch. And he's like, okay, I need you to go travel here. I need you to talk to this person. I need you to bring this here. I need you to go recruit these people, build this bitch, make this house nice. he's just sending you all on your way to do whatever the fuck he wants, and we do it because we love him, apparently.
Because we want to learn how to terraform.
Exactly. And so he's like, the only thing you're allowed to do for Tom Nook. Like, you want to do something for yourself? It's not really for yourself. It's all an illusion.
Unless you're doing the ghost thing. I caught a ghost a while back.
I have yet to find a ghost.
Oh man, I saw a ghost the other night and I was like, Emily, what is this? And she's like, that's a wisp. Catch it. And I'm like, yes.
I want to encounter one. But yes,
it was late at night.
Everything's basically for Tom Nook. He has you doing all this shit, and he makes it seem like it's an exchange. Oh, it's for the betterment of the group. It's for, like, I'll give you this. You scratch my back, I'll scratch yours, sort of thing. But really, he's just profiting off of all of this. He's getting more people. Those people are paying. You're doing all the labor. He's like, I'll make it happen, but really he's making other people do it. It's like, I don't think Tom Nook spends a goddamn dime in this game. His sons buy stuff from you, but
Tom Nook is nephews. Like the god of this game,
right?
Also, where are these kids' parents or parent? Anybody but Nook.
Great fucking question. Because
did he kidnap them?
Oh my god, maybe he kidnapped them, and he was like, they were quote orphaned. Like,
it happens. It happens.
It does.
I recently saw some TikToks of this dude who didn't figure out that he was kidnapped until he was like 35 years old when his girlfriend...
Those things are so scary.
I know. His girlfriend's like, oh, I don't believe that you don't have any family. Let's do an ancestry test and like, I'm sure you have family. And it turns out he was kidnapped when he was 4 years old. And his family was looking for him.
Oh my god. Oh my god. Yeah. I hate that. Nope.
I don't like it. It scares me.
Yeah, no, that's terrifying. I look way too much like my parents. I definitely was not kidnapped.
I look like my dad, but not my mom. So the only one who looks like my mom is my youngest sister. So suspicious.
Coincidence? I think not.
I think not. I'm not accusing my dad of kidnapping. Just to be clear.
Another example of cults is that the members are typically encouraged or required to all live together in a same general area. You can have different buildings and stuff like that, but you're basically all near each other, and you kind of have to always socialize with those people, unless you're recruiting, which is definitely the case. You get stuck with these fuckos on the island. Half of them are annoying as fuck.
I've been trying so hard to get rid of this fucking green koala.
He's a creepy one. I've seen him, guys. I've seen him.
God, he's so gross looking too. I don't understand.
He looks chlamydia. I'm just kidding.
It's the chlamydia. I tried when I went to Australia. We tried to touch the koalas at the Steve Irwin Zoo. Yeah, and we couldn't because one of them had chlamydia.
Oh, damn it!
Somebody touched them anyway. So
did they get it?
I think so.
It's easy to get rid of, though. At least.
Yeah, no, I can't confirm it for sure, but I have a very sneaking suspicion that she did.
Christ, that would be me though. I'd literally touch a koala. I'd be like, chlamydia, give me an antibiotic. I'm petting a koala.
I'm petting a koala. I mean, I got to hold one that didn't have chlamydia, and they have two thumbs.
That's cool. I don't think I knew that.
Yeah, it's weird, dude.
That's crafty.
Marsupials, man.
Marsupials.
I did foreign study in Australia, so I was there for a while.
Oh, that's so snazzy.
I did it in high school, too. I never got to do foreign study in college.
Oh, that's nice.
And the best part about foreign study in high school is that it was free.
Ooh,
with the exception of your plane ticket, it was free. And the plane ticket, don't get me wrong, is fucking expensive as hell.
Right.
But it was not nearly as expensive as it would have been for room and board for like a month.
Damn, that's nice. That's a good deal.
Yeah, that's why I did a ton of foreign study in high school.
Understandable. Damn. I wish we had that. We had like school trips, but you still had to pay. You got discount prices because it was through EF tours and stuff like that. But we didn't have any foreign study that I was aware of. We had a lot of foreign exchange students, but I only knew of one person who did like some foreign exchange, like foreign study themselves, and that was just over the summer. But
yeah,
we didn't have any specific programs.
One of my foreign exchange trips, my Chinese teacher just signed me up for. And then after the fact, she was like, you're going to China. And I was like, excuse me, what? And she's like, I signed you up. You're going to China. And I'm like, I didn't even say I could pay for the plane ticket. Fuck,
Like,
man.
when did this happen?
High school. I love Lauscher. She was fucking great. I think you might need to bleep out because
Okay.
Lauscher just means teacher. But
Okay.
she was great. She was fantastic. I love that woman, and people were so mean to her because she spoke good English. It just wasn't like, it wasn't the same level as somebody who was born here and raised speaking English.
Yeah.
Which, like, is pretty damn good anyway. Like, I mean,
right.
she can work a job at an English-speaking school. I think she's fine.
Right. Ugh,
But
so annoying.
she was great. And I learned so much from her when I was studying from her.
Having foreign language teachers that, like, that's their native language is always super nice.
Oh, it was great because we got so many more, like, cultural tidbits than I did from, like,
right.
my American Spanish teachers.
Yeah.
Who, like, got a Spanish degree and, like, majored in Spanish, which is, like, great. I mean, like, you got your master's in a language and now you're teaching it, so you're making good use of it. But I don't know, like, it's not the same.
No, I feel that. It's not. And yeah, that's why I was, like, super happy that when I was taking ASL at my first school, like, all the professors were deaf and part of the deaf community and all that. So
yeah,
really
my ASL professor was the she used to be the director of the local school for the deaf and blind.
Oh, nice.
And she had, like, a doctorate in ASL, and I was like,
wow.
Yeah, so she knew the culture, and she had been around deaf people for, like, decades, and I was like, yes,
right.
This is good.
Oh yeah, that is nice. Ugh. But yeah, so they basically have to socialize with just the people on the island, or if they're going to recruit, you could socialize.
I don't know how we got off on that tangent.
I have literally no idea, but I love a good tangent.
It's one of those days, guys. Sorry, it's the tangent cast.
It really is. But it's good because we both have, like, shorter stories, so the tangents are helpful.
It fills the gap.
Exactly. Let's see. I'm looking at my notes. I'm trying to delete as I go so I don't accidentally repeat something. Oh,
that is smart.
Thank you. So another common factor is the cultic group. Also, instead of cults, a lot of times call them high control groups, but So another common thing for high control groups or cults is the group has an us versus them mentality, and so that often causes conflict with, outside society and just other people in general. And that could definitely be seen in Animal Crossing, because you see with this Tom Nook bitch, he's like, okay, I want you to stay on this island. We're the best. We're going to be the best. We're going to get more people here. We're going to get KK Slider up in this bitch. We're going to get all these people coming to visit. It's going to give us money. It's going to give us good ratings. It's all this. And he was like, we are going to be the best of the fucking best. And he constantly is saying that. He's like, our island's going to be great. Our island's going to be better. Like, all this shit. He's like, fucking Tom Nook. So Tom Nook's just harassing the fucking other people, the other islanders, apparently.
At least he lets you leave. But doesn't.
He lets you leave under supervision. Let's be real, those pelicans work for him.
Oh, they do. And they watch. They do be watching.
They do be watching. Or those dodo birds are dodo birds.
Yeah.
Another example that kind of gives you an idea, like, oh, this might be a cultic group or a high control group, is that the leader of the group is not accountable to anyone above them. Like, they are the top. Whatever they do, whatever they say goes. They can do no wrong. And that's like Tom Nook. He's literally the head of the island. He runs everything. He tells everyone what to do, but no one tells him what to do. And he doesn't really take the feedback. Like, Isabelle takes feedback about how the island looks, but Tom Nook basically is like, this is what we're gonna do, okay? You don't really get choices. And no one can tell him.
No choices for you.
Exactly. And another example, which I think is probably going to be the final one that really stands out, is that the group, which in this case is all the islanders, just have an unquestioning commitment to their leader. And no one questions Nook. No one can question Nook. Everyone's just like, he is the
No
best.
one questions the Nook.
Nook the crook. And so they they idealize him. They're like, he's given us this whole island, and especially Isabel, she's like, Mr. Nook, look what he did for us. And it's like, okay, bitch, you're drinking the Kool-Aid. And so everyone just
Look
loves
at this
him.
god among men.
And let's be real, it's you doing all the fucking work, and Tom Nook's getting the fucking credit, and everyone's like, yeah, it's Tom Nook. Oh, I heard you did some stuff for this island, but Tom Nook. It's like, fuck you, Nook.
Tom Nook is a mansplaining credit stealer.
Exactly. That he is.
He's a mansplaining plagiarist.
But that's like just a simple rundown of why I think Tom Nook is low-key a cult leader. But like I said, I'm not a professional. I studied it for my degree. And I got
continuing to study it.
And continue to study it. And my outside resources are from people who are professionals in the field or have been in cults themselves. So I'm just saying how
this goes deep.
Yeah, I'm just saying how my connections are made are based off of facts for what's common in what has been cultic groups. And everyone's like, oh, this guy's a nice guy. But yeah, people thought Charles Manson was a great guy and super down to earth. And then he told them to kill people. And then that's what happened. People thought Jim Jones sounds like, you read about Jim Jones, he was super, super into helping the like Black and African American community and being like, he was super on their side. He really helped them
till he killed them.
Yep, exactly, through mass suicide. So everyone, like, great things. They're like, oh, these people are great. Everyone starts out seeming great. Trust me, Tom Nook gave you a house, yeah, but nope, you're in for a wild ride.
He's gonna burn that house down with you inside of it.
Exactly. He's coming for those knees.
He's coming for the knees. He's gonna steal the knees.
But yeah, so that's just, I thought that would be a fun little thing to talk about because it wasn't a personal story, and even though it wasn't historical, I was like, okay, I don't want to do a historical story because things have been hectic, so I was worried I wouldn't be able to go as in depth as I want. So I'm like, this is fair. Something easy for me to talk about. It's not a personal story, so it fits the, like, you know, random story aspect of it. So I was like, let's try it.
And things have been pretty wild lately too, so like we're gonna be a little bit behind in order to not fall into another hiatus.
Yeah.
So I feel like for a while we're probably gonna have like some lighthearted-ish stories that don't go too in depth.
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking as well. And I have a huge list of historical people I want to talk about, but I also definitely want to talk about a lot of psychology things as well.
Same. I'd really, really love to like do some in-depth research and like study stuff. Fucking my brain just had it.
No, I feel that. I'll be like talking and then I'll be like, bye. I'll be like, oh, okay.
And it's like, the thought has just exited the premises.
Right.
Gets up and leaves. I'm the thought. Sorry. Fuck. God damn it. But you know what I mean. I would much rather do like in-depth stories. I really want to cover the Ann Lister diaries, but I'm still reading them and they're very long. And that would probably have to be a 2-part podcast for me.
That'd be snazzy.
Yeah, I love Ann Lister. She is one of the most well-documented historical lesbians.
I do not know anything about her, so I'm hyped.
Do you have HBO?
I do.
Watch Gentleman Jack. And like obviously no like rendition, like movie rendition is gonna be like perfect.
Yeah.
Or super accurate. But it'll give you the gist, and there are some accuracies to it.
Sounds good to me.
And it's just well done. It's well done. The actress that they casted actually looks like Ann Lister, so.
Well, that's friggin' crap. I love when they do shit like that.
Same.
But yeah, so I got some more ancient Greece coming for you. in the
Yeehaw.
future. But yeah, this will probably, we said like, oh, this was going to be personal and historical, but really it's going to be a personal story and then a kind of historical / whatever the fuck we want.
And honestly, like, we may just verge into whatever the fuck we want at some point because we're gonna run out of personal stories.
Oh, exactly. And it's like, I know I want to talk about like cryptids and stuff like that as well.
Oh yeah, same. And like, there's only so many personal stories I can tell before it gets way too personal.
Exactly. Exactly. No, I feel that. There are definitely some stories that are like, oh, this is iconic and funny, but also my parents and my brother listen to this, and it's like they
Yeah,
may
and if
not think it's
anybody,
funny.
if anybody ever wants to hire me in the future and they stumble upon this,
Right, that's
I
fair.
fear for that. I worry about that.
That's a good point. Oh gosh. But yeah, so we'll be evolving. We love to hear feedback if you guys like or don't like certain aspects. Like we want to, you know, kind of try and do what you want to hear as well as what we want to do. So hope this was a nice little fun switch up.
Patreon.
Oh yes.
Patreon.
If you want to be a patron, patron of the week.
No,
is...
our patron of your mother, our only supporter. We must praise the queen.
So yes, our patron of the week is Mama J, Elaine, my mother, and because no one else has become a patron, and I'm still bitter Steven's not a patron. But love you, Mom. Thanks for being a patron. If anyone else again wants the chance to be a patron and get a 100% chance of being the next patron of the week, all you gotta do, you can even do it for 1 month. $5. $5. That's like a cup of coffee at Starbucks. You can do it for us.
And it pays for half of our Zencastr subscription.
That's true. It does.
Oh, I owe you $10 actually.
YOLO. And so if you want to be a patron, hit us up on Patreon. You can find that in the link in our Instagram bio. And on Instagram, you can find us at You Don't Look at Podcast. If you go to the link in our Instagram bio, it'll take you to all the links for all of our social medias, our Patreon, everything you could want. If you want to email us, tell us something you want to hear or have some feedback, you can email us at youdon'tlookatpodcast@gmail.com. You can also just message us on Instagram. You can message us on Facebook. We're also on Twitter. I'm doing a really bad job of Twitter, so I probably don't.
We may just have to surrender for Twitter.
Yeah.
Honestly, we might just have to give up on Twitter.
If we become big and people really want a Twitter, someone else can make our Twitter.
Someone else could run and manage our Twitter. If we ever get big, we'll have somebody to manage things.
True. But because... yeah. Twitter, yeah, I have a few things posted on Twitter. I always forget about it. Facebook, everything from Instagram automatically goes to the Facebook. We also have a patron-only Facebook group if you become a patron, so that'll be fun. Right now, my mother hasn't even joined, but I'm in there, and so is Danny. So interact with us. We also have a patron-only Discord, so a lot of fun stuff, and we're also looking to add more tiers and just kind of more bonuses and perks for being a patron. And so we also definitely want to hear feedback if you guys have any specific ideas of what you'd like to see, because I mean, if you're going to be a patron and pay for it, we want you to get something fun that you're looking for. We also have, I know Danny mentioned stickers in the works.
I know, I'm so sorry, I'm slow as fuck.
Oh no,
my senior seminar is killing me.
Literally no rush, but that's something you'll have to look forward to.
But if we get a patron, I'll start on the stickers immediately. Like,
if you become a patron today, folks,
I will personally make you a sticker.
Danny will kick it into high gear.
I was supposed to design a tattoo for somebody, and I forgot about it for a solid month.
Oh my gosh.
It's great. I feel really bad about it. I have yet to contact her about it because I'm like, because I was like, if I don't finish it by the end of the month, don't pay me,
right?
So that I'll motivate myself. Also, like, I don't deserve to be paid if it took me that long, and it did take me that long, and I have yet to start it. I'm so sorry.
So yeah, give us something to motivate ourselves to be better in life. Just be a patron, and that'll be our motivation for life. But yeah, things have been hectic, so we apologize if stories are a little short or kind of not as in-depth or detailed historical stories or personal stories as you'd like. But again, hit us up. We'd love to hear feedback of what you like and if there anything you don't like, so we can kind of try and cater to you guys as well. But yeah, thank you guys for listening, and we will see you next week.
Bye.
Bye.